having to come to this place 2 to 3 times a week. I was just here yesterday to see one doctor. Now I'm here today to see another doctor. Then I'm going to have to come again on Friday to see another doctor. I'm over it. I might as well just live on base and sleep in the parking lot of Naval Hospital because I'm here, it seems like, more than I'm home. And today's a long appointment. My husband just said the upside to having good insurance is not costing us a dime. So we have military insurance because he's a retired Marine, and yeah, I've not paid for anything. My glucose monitor, my insulin, the nasty prenatal vitamins I have to take every day, the blood pressure pills I have to take every day. I have no copay, no nothing. I just literally hate living at this office. However, most high-risk women who are seen in the civilian world, they have to go to 2 to 3 different locations. So I am blessed that I only have to go to one location. I'm just here 3 times a week. I'm here today to see the OB. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. I think we're going to officially schedule the induction today as well, or I'm going to ask, because the high-risk doctor and my high-risk midwife did tell me I could go ahead and schedule it and get it on the books. Hey, good afternoon, you guys. Good afternoon. It is October 27th, 2021. And I am coming to do a video that is a little unscheduled. Why is it unscheduled? Because the last video that I shared with you guys, I found out that my little guy is measuring small. To be exact, he is 3 weeks behind in his abdomen cavity. So he has been diagnosed with fetal growth restriction, and I need to be induced. I was told by my maternal fetal medicine doctor, my high-risk doctor, that he would recommend that I get induced at 37 weeks. My 37 weeks actually falls on the Thanksgiving holiday, and I'm on a military base, and they will be operating with limited staff. That Thursday and Friday weekend, that is still considered Thanksgiving. That Friday is still considered a Thanksgiving holiday time for military. So the hospital will be on what is called a 96. So a 96 basically is when military, that's the amount of hours that the military will be off. So they'll be on a 96 that week. And therefore, the earliest time that I could come would be that Monday after Thanksgiving. So I've been scheduled for my induction on November 29th. I go in at 5 p.m. to do the induction. I went from going and seeing my OB every 2 weeks to every week starting next week. So I saw my OB today, and I have to go see my OB every Wednesday until we deliver little man. My uterus is still measuring where it should measure at. I'm currently 32 weeks and 6 days. I will turn 33 weeks tomorrow. And my uterus is measuring spot on for my gestational age. It's just that my son's abdomen cavity, the circumference of his abdomen is smaller and below the 5th percentile for where he should be. So the rest of his body is proportionate for where it should be gestationally, but his abdomen is smaller, so he was diagnosed with intrauterine growth restriction. So I'm not as paranoid with that diagnosis because I am being seen 3 days a week, every week. 2 days out the week, I get to see my high-risk doctor, and then every Wednesday, I'll see my regular OB doctor. So I am not too concerned that we would miss an opportunity to catch a red flag. It was a lot to absorb last Tuesday, and I'm not gonna lie to you guys or sugarcoat anything. I try to be as transparent with this process as possible, even with the going up and doing the IVF and taking the medication that we had to take. I try to be as transparent and raw with everything as possible. I cried, and I cried some more. It very much made me very much overwhelmed, and I felt like I had no control over what was going on, and I did feel apprehensive because it seemed like every week we were getting a new diagnosis. Every week something else was coming on. So I've been very stressed since week 28. At week 28, I failed the 1 hour glucose test. Then I failed the 3 hour glucose test very, very horribly. And I did share that story of my experience. It was a very, very uncomfortable experience. It made the medicine, the glucose drink they make you drink, it made me very much sick. And I felt that I was gonna pass out. But now I feel a little more controlled. When I went in at my 32-week checkup, 31-week checkup, I believe it was, somewhere between 31 and 32 weeks. I was given, it was 31 weeks. I was given insulin. And taking insulin was a bit intimidating. Not taking the needles, because I've gone through IVF and I've poked every piece of my belly that I could be poked. I have poked every piece of my behind that could be poked, in my opinion. So I felt that I could handle giving myself and administering the shots every night. The issue that I felt very uncontrollable about and apprehensive about was the very fact that it's insulin. And having a diabetic diagnosis, whether it is gestational diabetes, type 2 diabetes, or type 1, just that diabetes title is very intimidating. Made me feel very apprehensive. But I can honestly say that in the time frame that I've been on the insulin, my sugar levels have very much improved. So it did, benefit. So I've been on the insulin for 2 weeks. And at the time that I found out that the baby had growth restriction was last week at a high risk appointment when I was going in for a growth scan to check the baby. And I was told my baby should be between 4 and 5 pounds at that point. And little man at 31 weeks in a few days was measuring 3 pounds and 2 ounces. But his stomach was smaller. So his total weight wise is not too far off the spectrum, but his belly, his abdominal cavity is off the spectrum. And that, led the doctor to feel like, he had to diagnose him with growth restriction, and be closely monitored. So I sat there and I absorbed that, and while you're laying, can't speak for anyone else, but while I'm laying there on that table, wiping off the ultrasound gel, I'm sitting here and I just thinking, I can't let this doctor know how emotional I feel right now. I can't allow myself to do so. But I felt very emotional. I felt very much out of control. I honestly felt that it was something that he was going to address immediately, and I didn't want my baby to be born prematurely. It was a lot of things going through my mind. So, I do the typical nodding of my head, yes. If I did have questions, I do ask questions. But it was very apprehensive, and I had still just gotten my brain wrapped around the fact that little baby, which his name is Samuel, I just wrapped my brain around the fact that Samuel was requiring that I need insulin because my pancreas and placenta weren't functioning the way that they should. So yeah, that, you know, it bothered me. But I was less calm when I did the non-stress test on last Friday. He met the marks that they needed him to meet, and it was very uneventful. I did have a non-stress test yesterday with my high-risk doctor, and I got a limited ultrasound, so I wasn't stressed out either getting that. He did act kind of funky doing the non-stress test, and she had to get the little vibrator thing out twice to buzz him and get him to do the readings that was needed, and he scathed by. She said, generally my little man is very calm and quiet during lunchtime, and my appointments are at 11, so it was not unexpected for me to see him not do too much moving, because there's just, he moves a lot first thing in the morning, then he calms down around 10-ish, and then, you know, he moves again around 10:30, but then around 11 o'clock he's back asleep. He's not doing anything. So I wasn't shocked. I was actually anticipating him being non-responsive because I know my baby's sleep pattern at this point. So today's appointment was my first time meeting my OB since we got the diagnosis of fetal growth restriction. And I love my OB. Don't get me wrong. I was very much apprehensive with going to a military facility because you don't get a say as to who your doctor's going to be. You get whoever they assign to you. We're Marine Corps. So all my medical personnel are Navy, because the Marines get their Marine Corps care from the Navy, because we are technically a part of the Navy. The Marine Corps does fall under the Navy. So he comes in and we do our typical flow of the appointment, and he did ask me, in my words, to explain what my maternal fetal medicine doctor said. And I explained to him what they said and the readings that he said, and I understood that they said I was going to have to induce at 37 weeks. And I said my issue and only concern with this is I have 2 other children in my home at the current time, and I need to be able to adequately accommodate where they're going to be at. So am I going in during the Thanksgiving break, which would be optimal because they will be out of school that Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Then they have that, you know, naturally Saturday and Sunday off. And I will be going home Sunday. So I would be home to get them ready for school Monday morning. And he said, well, I know that L&D is not going to be doing any inductions on Thanksgiving. So my concern was, well, am I coming in Friday? Which would still be optimal because I would go in Friday. I would have the baby between Friday and Saturday morning. And I still would go home on Sunday or early Monday morning. However, as I previously stated in this video, Friday is a holiday. So he said, as long as I come in before I hit the 38-week mark, but I can't come in before I hit the 37 mark, I'm going to be fine. So when I go in on November 29th, I will be 37 weeks and 4 days. I'm okay with it. I will be going in at 5 o'clock p.m. So I'm able to get the kids up to go to school, get the kids home, get the kids situated and fed, and whoever's going to be with the kids that day, they'll already be at my home. I don't know who's going to be at the home with my kids. It's narrowed down to 3 people, so whoever says that they're going to be there, that's who I'm going to go with. And that's it. I'm more concerned about who's going to be home with my kids and when I'm in the hospital, who's going to adhere to the schedule that I have them on and get them situated for school like I would. So I did pack their bag on the off chance that they were going to go spend a night with my sister doing Thanksgiving break. And I will have to reevaluate the bag because I didn't pack any of their school stuff. So my 6-year-old goes to a private school and he has a school dress code, and none of the stuff that's in his bag meets his dress code. So yeah, I have to redo their bag, which I do have I have some time to redo it. But it's just, absorbing in my face that, yeah, this baby will be here and his birthday will either be November 29th or November 30th. Now, my OB did explain to me my options of trying to get into labor. This will be a VBAC for me. It will be my first VBAC. And so until I successfully do the VBAC, it's called a trial of labor. And he explained to me my options of trying to do the trial of labor. He did say that if my cervix was closed, that there are limited resources that I could use, given that I've already had a C-section and that they don't want to give me medicine for. He did reassure me that he would be the one delivering baby. Other than me going into labor this weekend, as in 2 days from now, he would be the one delivering because he is only going to be gone that weekend and he will be on call or in the area to deliver all the way up until Thanksgiving. So that's good. But he did tell me that we can attempt to strip my membranes. So if I'm at least just 1 centimeter, he said, he has no problem stripping my membranes. That appointment that I come before my induction, he did indicate he had no issues with stripping my membranes. I can begin using my breast pump at 36 weeks. The pumping will have nipple stimulation, and the nipple stimulation is supposed to help kickstart me dilating. I am going to start walking today, so I'm going to try and walk 30 minutes a day so I can walk baby down, and as the baby drops further into my uterus, into my pelvic bone, his head will put pressure on my cervix, and that'll make me open up. When I come see the doctor, I will be almost 34 weeks next week. And we're going to discuss when we're going to do a cervical check. He's going to discuss with me when we're going to do the GBS testing and whatnot, and getting situated for baby. My bag is packed and in the back of the car. So yeah, numbers looked pretty good today in regards to his heart rate. His heart rate were in the upper 140s, lower 150s, and he said that was great. Cervix was measuring fine. My blood pressure was a tad bit high, but that was only because I had some pain right before she took it. So whenever he moves and he moves his upper body, I can feel it in my cervix. The midwife who did my ultrasound yesterday, she did confirm that he has dropped, and he does look like he's attempting to lower down and engage and be engaged, which is pretty good. Typically, I start dilating around 36, 37 weeks on my own anyway. So I don't really think that inducing him is going to be the issue. I don't want a C-section unless I absolutely have to. But I did talk to my husband, and in the back of my mind, I told him, I said, in the back of my mind, I wonder, is it just easier to ask them to schedule a C-section? Because it's it seems like it'd just be so much easier. But I don't want to come home and have to recover from a C-section and deal with the newborn and deal with my 2 kids. I have a freshman in high school and a first grader, and I have to ride both of them pretty much hard to get them to stay on track with their work. And it works for them. I have a very straight program that we use so they can stay on track. However, my husband is more laid back when it comes to that. And I prefer that they stayed on schedule because, you know, it produces a great outcome for the kids. So, I don't know. But I'm hoping everything works out. I have decided, since I am doing appointments at a weekly basis and so much can change in a week's time, that I will start updating you guys every week. So I think I'm going to update you guys every Wednesday after I get I finish my OB appointments, because my appointments on Fridays don't make or break anything. Those are the appointments that determine whether or not I'm going to stay pregnant another week. So I think that it would be just easier and best if I come and update you guys every Wednesday. So with that being said, I'm going to sign off here because I'm about to get my kid and it's going to be loud in here in a minute. Have a great day. Be happy on purpose.